Driver, do you have any Bud Light in your vehicle?
Yes.
Then I am Mr. Gallywikich.
You mean Dr. Galakowitz?
Yes, I am. This is so cool.
First time in a limo? Doctor?
In a limo this small.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
For moments when there's no time to waste, Cellular One and Nobody Beats the Whiz put you in touch automatically in over 300 cities across North America.
Hello. Boomer! It's 3rd and 17, Joe. I need some help. Where's the ball? 76 dig, X corner.
Cellular One and Nobody Beats the Whiz. Cellular service.
Hello.
You need to use a pitching wedge
That's simply the best.
He's in Manhattan on Wednesday, Frankfurt on Thursday, Paris, Rome, and Vienna after that. He believes it's better to do business across a table.
The New York Knicks with a record of 9 up and 3 down. And the Sacramento Kings 4-10 for the Kings. The start of a 4-game road trip. East Coast road trip that continues at Indiana, Boston, and Philly. While following today's game, the Knicks head to the West Coast coming up. 3-game Western swing, which will begin on Monday night against the Utah Jazz at Salt Lake City, continues at the Forum in Los Angeles, and then at Golden State. And we are now set for the introduction of the Hertz starting lineups.
Today's game features the Sacramento Kings and your New York Knicks. Here are today's starting lineups. First for Sacramento. At guard at 6'3" from New Mexico State, number 3, Randy Brown. At guard at 6 feet from Duke, number 7, Bobby Hurley. At forward at 6'7" from LaSalle, number 22, Lionel Simmons. At forward at 6'9" from Oklahoma, number 23, Wayman Tisdale. At center at 6'10" from Michigan State, number 54, Mike Poplawski. The trainer is Bill Jones. Assistant coaches are Mike Schuler, Eddie Jordan, and Mike Bratz. And the head coach is Gary St. Jean. Mitch Richmond is injured and will not play. And now, please welcome your New York Knicks. At guard at 6'5" from Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks. At guard at 6'4" from Marquette, number 25, Doc Rivers. At forward at 6'7" from Tennessee State, number 14, Anthony Mason. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, co-captain Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing. The head trainer is Mike Saunders. The assistant trainer, Tim Walsh. Assistant coaches, Dick Harder and Jeff Van Gundy. And the head coach of the Knicks, Pat Riley.
So we're set for the New York Knicks and the Sacramento Kings. Mitch Richmond, who is among the leading scorers in the NBA and the #1 scorer among NBA guards, is sitting it out because of the sprained toe. The Kings have been hard hit by injuries. Dwayne Coswell will be out until January or February. Brewer, Chilcutt, Hurley, and Tisdale are all available. In fact, Tisdale and Hurley are in the starting lineup. Odd situation. That's Spud Webb. Spud and Bobby Hurley have actually rotated on the floor. That has been the philosophy of Coach Gary St. Jean. Bobby Hurley has been going in the first and third quarters, and Spud Webb in the second and the fourth.
Talking to their general manager, Jerry Reynolds, before the game, Marv, he said he hopes that light pressure. He hopes that that changes a little bit and Gary starts to vary it up a little bit. Also, the fans in Sacramento have been very vocal, not supporting that theory.
Well, I think Gary St. Jean is trying to alleviate the pressure on Hurley at the start of his career. Does not want him on the floor in the fourth quarter. John Starks with the face mask back intact. Meanwhile, Mike Paplowski gets involved with Patrick Ewing. So Patrick Ewing going from matching with Hakeem Olajuwon to Mike Paplowski, who, as it turns out, John, is a powerful enforcer type player. Had a very fine collegiate career at Michigan State. Mike Paplowski also has a very good shooting touch. Ewing able to hit and foul as Tisdale trying to help out. So Patrick Ewing with the 4 for 20 the other night, certainly one of his worst performances as a pro, gets right back to it.
Well, Wayman Tisdale at 6'9" can't offer much of a distraction to Patrick. One thing about Ewing, as we take another look at this tough to deal with shot for Tisdale, is that he has never thought about yesterday after his poor games throughout his career. He's professional to the ultimate in that he comes back strong. He's able to erase those memories.
Mason keeps it alive. Starks guarded by Hurley. Hurley got picked off by Mason, and Starks took advantage. Bobby Hurley being guarded by Doc Rivers. It is a Hurley fest here at the Garden throughout the days. Brother Dan will be with Seton Hall tonight against St. John's. Oakley with the steal. Al Troutwig will chat with Bobby Hurley Sr. at halftime. The tip home to give the Knicks a 6-0 lead. Oakley with the field goal. Tisdale posting up. Wayman Tisdale, a terrific post-up player, although in that matchup he drew Patrick Ewing.
The speed with which that was executed, though, made it easier for Tisdale.
Rivers changed his mind. He saw Mason open, but it goes right back outside. Starks draws the foul. He was blocked. The officials, Mike Mathis, who makes that call, along with Ed F. Rush and Tommy Wood. Foul committed by Tisdale, and Starks will go to the line. What a performance the other night by John Starks. 13 for 27, 35 points, 5 assists, 5 steals. He was a one-man gang as he tried to bring the Knicks back into it.
Also, Marv, what he advertised, as he does every game, is his heart. He played with great confidence, great determination, and those qualities, I think, are the qualities that separated him from some of his teammates, which the crowd picked up on. And the reference in the papers to the booing of the Knick team by the crowd really points to the sophistication of the crowd and their ability to recognize those qualities of determination that separates John sometimes from some teammates.
Knicks with a 7-2 lead. And the major question, I know it was dealt with on the Knicks game night pregame show, as Tisdale goes off the mark. Mason with the rebound. King's able to get back. Mason gives it back out. And Ewing with the move on Paplowski for a 9-2 Knick lead. The Knick performance the other night will be a stigma, no matter what the players, no matter what the coaches say, until they validate themselves by beating one of the stronger teams, such as Seattle or Phoenix, or the rematch. That's Randy Brown, who's been playing well as of late, or the rematch against Houston. They will need a victory against a major team for their own heads. Not that this club is not a very good ball club. Patrick Ewing makes it 11-4. And we're looking at a Knick club that's going to win 55-60 games. They are certainly a contender for a championship, and it's only early season. But I have the feeling they'll need that kind of victory. As a foul, called a pushing foul on Oakland.
I don't think there's any question, Marv. It could start to some degree against Utah on Monday night in Utah. But they're not certainly among the NBA elite as teams. But, you know, I think it's good for the team, because this is a team historically that's had a problem with success. The players here, not the franchise, the players here when they've played well, they've kind of swaggered a bit, and they did coming into Houston, as we know, the other night. This will hang over their heads, and it'll be good for them. It'll keep them humble for a period of time. Lionel Simmons on that impressive drive from the corner. And I think Pat Riley, in many ways, will look upon that as an assist as the season goes along, because people will always point to that game. And overall, in the length of the season, which is so incredibly long, why this may turn out to be a positive game.
Yes, he has a way of turning things around, taking a negative and using it. Mason was called on that foul, and off the three-point play by Simmons, the Knicks now lead 11-7. And a foul is called off that entry pass to Rivers. Hurley picks it up. 3 minutes gone by in this first quarter. Non-shooting foul. And Mason will throw in. There was some speculation that Charles Smith might be in the starting lineup this afternoon. Here's Starks. Yes. Knicks 13 and Sacramento 7. But Pat Riley has stayed with Anthony Mason. Charles Smith did not play well the other day against Houston. Rivers knocked it out of bounds. In fact, had a dreadful time in the second game back after missing 8 games because of the cartilage damage in his left knee. I have a feeling that Pat Riley is taking the pressure off Charles Smith, who might have heard it here from the crowd if he were introduced in the starting lineup. I think it's important for Smith to get back as a starter. Good play to poke it away from Mason. It's a 3-on-2. Hurley for Chilcutt, and the foul called on Rivers. But I can see Smith being inserted into the starting lineup on the road with the trip coming up, and there'll be no reaction to him, obviously, perhaps in LA at the Forum. But in the long run, this is a more effective club with Anthony Mason coming off the bench.
Well, that's the formula, and I think your point is right on about the crowd reaction should Charles have started today. And we also have to point out, Marv, too, which is obvious to many close watchers of the Knicks, that Pat Riley has been very supportive of Charles Smith and Greg Anthony, no matter how poorly things have gone, which is great. It's a great confidence builder. But he's also, to me, after the game the other night, given off feelings that his patience is wearing thin. Oh, Doc Rivers on a beautiful slam dunk. And he's ready to make some changes, I think, if he has to. I think he's given off pressure, feeling pressure more than ever before after that disappointing game.
Nice touch by Randy Brown. On the other hand, he does not want to overreact, so you have to hold back. And this is a club that is 9-3, off to a very nice start. So the major change will be one that was going to come anyway, and that probably will be Smith back in the starting lineup, and then Mason coming off the bench. Brown gets down court. And Rivers pops it down to Starks. He has Ewing, the lead for Ewing. And the foul.
Well, on that missed drive, Doc Rivers pushes that ball up. John Starks sees Ewing working hard and knows what to do with the ball. All of a sudden, the Knicks have, excuse the use of the word, fun going on right now on the court. That was fun for Starks and Ewing.
Peplowski called for the foul, his second. The Knicks 18, Sacramento 11. 3.5 minutes gone by.
Now that we've settled Pat Riley's problems, the Knicks' problems, we can focus on Bobby Hurley and what's going on here.
Anything in your personal life that we can help you out with?
Second half, Mark.
I see. Simmons. And Starks gets to the loose ball.
And one of the temptations the Knicks are falling into a little bit is they're finding their shot easy to get their shots. That was the best sequence of ball movement. The point I was going to go into is that the shots are coming easy, so they're hoisting them up a little quickly now. That's not what they want. They want to get into better ball movement like they just demonstrated.
Sacramento taking a timeout.
Three nice passes leading to that side jump shot. Makes it tough for the defense when the ball moves like that.
So the Knicks with a 21-11 lead. 5 minutes, 9 seconds gone by. Mason called for the foul, and the L train, Lionel Simmons, in his 4th season out of LaSalle, will go to the line. In the Kings' last game against Minnesota on Wednesday, a loss to Minnesota. Simmons, 21 points, couple of steals, 17 steals the past 7 games for Simmons. Well, Anthony Bonner, who has not played the last couple of games, as it turns out, is the first substitution against his former team, the Sacramento Kings. So Bonner replaces Mason.
Oh, we can read something into Pat Riley doing that, much like he played Blackman in Dallas in the starting role. But I think also, Mar, it's another demonstration of Pat's reaction to the other night. Let me shake things up here and do something a little off the formula of late.
Anthony Bonner has played very well for the Knicks. Spent 3 years with the Sacramento Kings. Was some speculation about Bonner not playing a couple of games back after missing practice because of weather problems, which delayed his plane. He went home for the holiday. That's Chilcott coming back from the Thanksgiving Day holiday from his hometown of St. Louis. He was late, but Pat Riley indicated that had nothing at all to do with the lack of playing time as of late. He's done a good job. Here's Bonner getting inside. Yes, and Bonner will go to the line.
That kind of pass by Doc Rivers is a special pass. I mean, that's a beautiful pass. That reminds me of the Dick McGuire days. The look away, the bullet pass, simply executed. Bang, right on target. That wasn't easy either for Bonner to go over 6'10" Chilcott to make that shot. Bonner brings in an incredible shooting average from the field for the season. As we look at it again, he's shooting 71.8% from the field in his time with the Knicks.
Most from in close, but he's done a very fine job because he's a guy who rarely makes mistakes. Very fundamentally sound player, Anthony Bonner, who completes the three-point play. Randy Brewer has come on for the first time, replacing Mike Peplowski. Simmons going glass, and the Knicks lead 24-17. Randy Brewer has been bothered by a sprained ankle. He has sat out the last 3 games. Patrick Ewing having his way in the first quarter. 5 of 6, 11 points.
Randy Brewer at 7'4". Didn't seem to know who Patrick Ewing was. He was just flat-footed on that Ewing shot.
Gary St. Jean looking for a blocking foul on Ewing, who made contact with Hurley. Simmons again. And the Knicks now lead 26-19. Lionel Simmons with 9 points.
Bonner took himself out of the play by going to that head fake.
Loose ball foul on Starks. John Starks trying to get it back, was called for the foul. Sacramento with a front line of Simmons, Chilcott, and Brewer, Hurley, and Brown in the backcourt. Knicks now over the foul limit. Both clubs shooting well here at the start. The Knicks in particular, 11 for 14 from the field. So Randy Brown will shoot a couple. He is in his 3rd season out of New Mexico State. And he has been shooting well at 53% for the season. He's been getting the playing time. Season high, 7 assists, 34 minutes the other night against Minnesota. That loss to the Timberwolves at home on Wednesday. 4 straight losses for Sacramento at home. This is a team that opened the season at 3-1, and they've gone the other way, dropping 9 of the last 10. Bonner got a piece of it, and the call last touched by Oakley.
Well, they've been having their own shooting problems of late also. In their last 2 games, they have shot at 40%. Today, they're off to a much better start. I doubt that will continue, however.
The Knicks lead 26-20. Hurley can't find anyone. Just did get it in. Beat the 5-second violation. Hurley trying to do it off the dribble. Sets up Chilcott. And Brewer gets to it. Chilcott. Nice move. He had Ewing frozen with that pull-up.
He's an excellent shooter. Chilcott has hit from outside, now driving the ball inside, looking very fluid.
Although has not shot well as of late. The Knicks lead is now 4 points. 4.5 remaining in this first quarter. Pat Riley has Ewing, Bonner, and Oakley on the front line. Rivers and Starks in the backcourt. Starks rebounded by Simmons. This is Brown. And Doc Rivers giving up the body once again. A charging foul on Randy Brown.
Well, Doc Rivers, I think, found this rather easy as Brown kind of just went into him without any deception before that contact.
Knicks have led by as many as 10. Kings have cut it to 4. And a reach-in foul. Not a good foul by Ewing, who is well aware of it as he knocks himself in the head.
Yes, he noogied himself.
Yes, he did. He's upset with himself. One of those fouls where you figure, hey, I'll go for the steal, see if I can knock it away, but it's just not worth it, and picked it up. And with the Knicks over the limit, it's 2 shots for Brewer.
It's also an unconscious reflective move of disrespect rather for Brewer. He just figured he could.
Yes. A solid noogie attack on himself. As it turns out, Brewer misses both, and that was only the first foul called on Ewing. Starks with the step. Off the back tap, Chilcutt gets it ahead for Simmons. Here's Simmons on the drive. And the Kings have moved within 2. Lionel Simmons having a terrific first quarter. 11 points for Simmons, and the Knicks call for time. A 9-2 run by Sacramento. 3:34 left in the first.
When you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
Well, Hubert Davis and Greg Anthony are checking in for the first time. Greg Anthony had a very difficult time the other night against Houston, passing on shots 1 of 4 in 19 minutes of play. And let's see how he handles it here this afternoon, although the quality of the opposition a bit different than what he saw the other day. Ewing is able to hit 13 points for Ewing, and he will go to the line.
Well, Patrick's getting closer to the basket now with his moves to the hoop. Chilcutt at 6'10" is beaten severely by Ewing. Perfect drive by Patrick using the backboard, and he is certainly focused today, as 6 from 7 from the field demonstrates.
Chilcutt commits his second. What a difference in facing the likes of Mike Poplawski and Randy Brewer and Pete Chilcutt. He could not get near the basket Thursday against Hakeem Olajuwon. Also facing very effective double teaming. Normally he's handled it well. Simmons gets inside, lost his man. The Knicks now lead by 2. Patrick Ewing's passing has come a long way, but feeding it back from down low was not working the other night. And the Knicks could not hit, aside from Starks, could not hit their outside shots. Brewer called for that foul, and Pat Riley was very candid about that after the game. In fact, he said, well, Knicks were flat-footed defensively, stagnant offensively, and the reality was that we did not perform. So Ewing back to the foul line. He is 1 of 4 at the line.
Well, the other thing too, Marv, which we'll be seeing now, how Greg Anthony reacted to not taking shots the other night, which Pat Riley responded with, he's got to take shots, and if he doesn't, then it's my problem. The crowd should boo me, not him. Of course, that's a little bit of an extreme reaction, but Greg will have to look to shoot today. He can't just give it up out there.
Potter going for the steal, knocked it away. Last touch by Chilcutt. So it will be Nick Ball. Just under 3 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. The Knicks lead by 3. They've led by as many as 10. Potter guarded by Simmons. Ewing, well, he was triple teamed and he thought he had Oakley, but threw it away.
That kind of pass doesn't work. It's a lateral pass. The players are too close to one another, and it was quickly done. And the intention certainly was good from Ewing to Oakley, but it's really uncatchable. Oakley couldn't see the ball coming.
Hurley trying to do it off the dribble. Could not. Anthony on the interception. Ewing. Bonner with the rebound. Tony Campbell is getting set to come on for the first time. Davis. And again it's Bonner going to the basket. Rebound Ewing. Yes. The Knicks lead 31-26.
Knicks are working hard on their offensive boards and enjoying it and getting it done.
Shot clock at 5. Hurley forced. And back comes Anthony. Anthony all the way. Anthony came from out of bounds. And it will be Sacramento ball. Bobby Hurley's having difficulties finding shots, and that time he just pumped one up.
Marv, he's focusing so much on ball distribution, and he found himself, as you pointed out, with no seconds left on the clock. I don't think he wanted to shoot. He's going to have to look to shoot a little bit.
After a slow start in that department, he has shot well recently. Close to 50% the last 6 games. Bobby Hurley playing with a deep thigh bruise. But he's got all the way here in this first quarter. Ewing jumping out on Hurley. Hurley going to the basket, then tosses back out. This is Walt Williams who just checked in. Now Hurley. That was a 3-point attempt. Rebounded by Ewing. Tosses to Davis. Foul by Simmons. And almost, despite the hold by Simmons, almost laid it home.
The lead pass is best thrown when the receiver has to be led to the ball, and that was what happened. Ewing to Hubert Davis. That's an example of Hubert's athleticism, being pulled right out of the shot he wanted, but still going to the other hand and almost making the field goal attempt.
Walt Williams checking in for the first time. He's been injury hit, missed 7 preseason games, missed the first 8 regular season games in his second year out of Maryland. He had a season high tying 25 the other night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. 51 seconds left in the quarter. Knicks 32, the Kings 26. Poplawski tried to set a screen. Hurley finding Brown. Poplawski. So the Knicks now lead by 4. Mike Poplawski with his first field goal.
There's a lot of man, that guy, out of the Greg Kite school. Big, strong guy.
Poplawski at 6'10", 270 pounds. Left Michigan State as the number 2 man in the school's history in career shooting at 62%. Most of the shots from in close. Final seconds of the quarter. Hurley setting up Brown. After 1, it's the Knicks 32 and the Kings 28. Patrick Ewing with a strong start. Thursday, 4 of 20 against the Rockets. Comes back 7 of 10, 16 points here.
Celtics. The Knicks road trip packages include round-trip airfare, deluxe hotel accommodations, game tickets, a party hosted by Knicks VIPs, and more. To receive your free brochure, call 212-268-8844. That's 212-268-8844.
Very relaxed. Robin Leach taking in the matinee here today. Studying the Sacramento King roster.
Nice to know Robin always has a friend to go to games with. You know?
Yes. Well, both clubs shot well in the first quarter. Knicks fell off after the hot start, finished 13 of 25. Bonner got a piece of it to break it up and knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Knicks, and Walt Williams pointing at his one-time teammate Anthony Bonner, and that was the call from Tommy Wood.
Well, Kings coach Gary St. Jean is adhering to his formula so far this season. First quarter, Bobby Hurley. Second quarter now, Spud Webb reports in as the point guard.
It's Webb in the backcourt with Randy Brown, Klowski, Simmons, and Williams up front. Here's Anthony, open shot. Well, part of the Houston strategy the other night was to give Greg Anthony that type of shot. He was wide open throughout and then started passing up on the open jump shots. Bonner with the steal. Here's Bonner going all the way. Yes, and it counts. Anthony Bonner accelerating, and he'll go to the line.
All by himself, Anthony Bonner does it. The defensive play, dribbling the ball up court quite well, and then the strength and push right to the basket. Bonner's one of those players coaches refer to as the kind of guy that doesn't need the ball to be effective. That's just a tremendous compliment for any athlete.
Very complimentary type player, and when you don't need the ball to be effective and don't look for outside shots, usually you're a favorite of your teammates. Plus it means more shots for the other guys. Leg block is called, or a mere deflection. Let's see, Mike Mathis now telling the official score it was a leg block, so Kings get a new 24. Minute and a half gone by in the second quarter. Knicks lead by 9. Walt Williams gets inside. Took advantage of an overplay. Walt Williams, first round draft pick, the 7th selection overall from the Terrapins of Maryland last season. Knicks with a 7-point lead. Ewing up front along with Bonner and Campbell, and Patrick Ewing has been able to score at will here. 18 points in the first half. That counts, and the foul. Walt Williams. Williams will go to the line after being fouled by Davis. I should say Lionel Simmons will go to the line after that foul by Hubert Davis.
Well, this may be his best quarter of the year. Simmons is lighting it up out here. I should say half of the year. He's having a tremendous game. He has not had that solid a year, although he's picked it up a little bit lately.
Actually, his scoring has been down. He's 16 points per game. A couple of points under what he accomplished last season.
It's a concern, too, for the Kings. They don't feel he's a better player than he was last year, and that's how you measure the future of a player and his impact. He hasn't made strides since last season.
Campbell. Bonner with the rebound. Here's Davis for 3. Yes. Hubert Davis from downtown, and the Knicks now lead 42-33.
Hubert didn't get much of a run the other night against Houston, only 8 minutes, so he wants to make his own statement today, and he is with playing time. Compliments of our Delta Airlines upcoming schedule at what's going on next week. Monday, the Knicks at the Jazz, game night at 8:30 p.m. Tuesday at the Lakers, 10 p.m. and Thursday at Golden State, also game night at 10 p.m.
Now that's creative, John.
With the Band-Aid.
Yes.
Well, the other night.
Charles took 4 stitches right above the eye, courtesy of that elbow from Carl Herrera. Very creative. That young man will grow up to be an advertising agency copywriter. Nice move by Tisdale.
Which means he, too, like many, can someday be fired.
What an optimistic point of view here. Knicks lead by 7. 3 minutes in. Second quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutler from the guard. Pretty move by Hubert Davis going to the left hand. The Knicks with a 44-35 advantage.
I think Pat Riley now likes what he sees in front of him on the offensive end. Now this team's got to do a little better job defensively for his happiness.
Very tough assignment. Mismatch between Walt Williams and Hubert Davis. And the Knicks now lead by 7. Anthony and Davis in the backcourt. Ewing with Campbell and Bonner up front. So Charles Smith has not gotten any playing time here in the first half. due to the good play of Anthony Bonner. Here's Spud Webb.
I think, Marv, as I go into my shrink roll here, Pat Riley would like to see a little meanness from Charles Smith. And I think he may be shaking him up possibly, too, a little bit.
Anthony Poplawski rebounds, and he's fouled. Knicks try to protect against the outlet pass, and the foul called on Ewing. Now, Oakley will replace Ewing. So Patrick Ewing sitting down 8 for 11 from the field. Game high 18 points.
Perhaps I should elaborate further on the Charles Smith thing. I don't think necessarily what I just said, meanness. You can't change a person's character, but more of a determination when he gets on the floor, because his support has been so good from the Knicks coaching staff. I think he just wants to see some real heavy desire when Charles comes out on the court.
Substitution for Sacramento. Pete Chilcutt checking back in, and a timeout is called. 22nd timeout taken by the Kings with 7:49 remaining in this first half, and the Knicks up by 7. Well, John, I know this is difficult for you because when we have an afternoon game, which is unusual, plus Nick Rewind, I know you try to tailor your comments for both the listener who will be accustomed to listening to you early and late. And I know that's difficult, but tonight at 12 midnight following the MSG Sports Desk, you can catch the replay of today's Knicks game against the Kings right here on the MSG network.
Double the pleasure, Marv, just like our screen is doing right now. Very nice.
Nice to see the kids on hand, isn't it, John?
And that's why the Knicks, I'm sure, are scheduling so many afternoon games to widen their appeal. Let the young people see them in action. And Hubert Davis is having a nice day. Sure, he's thinking, thanks, coach, for giving me some time out here. Don't forget me. I can do it.
8 points, 3 out of 4 from the field for Hubert. Anthony knocking it out. Anthony Mason will replace Anthony Bonner. Here's the applause. Nice job by Anthony Bonner. 6 points, 3 rebounds.
Bonner has a nice habit of running off the court when he's replaced. Fans and coaches like to see that professionalism that he exhibits.
Hubert Davis tried the crossover. Mason posting up. Davis being guarded by Simmons. Oh, pretty pass. Davis with Mason, and the Knicks lead 48-37.
See, what that shows is that he's going for his own move and then recognizes a teammate in good position and can stop his own move and give the ball up. That was beautifully done by Hubert.
Little one-on-one move by Webb. Very fortunate to pick up the foul. It's on Davis.
A moment ago, Hubert Davis went into his own move, figuring he can beat the man off the dribble. And saw Anthony Mason in better position and got him the ball perfectly. I think, too, that Pat Riley, from time to time, as the season goes on, Marv, might think of using Hubert as a point guard. And not in the sense of is he a 1 or a 2, but is he just a good basketball player that can handle the ball.
And the Knicks dominating down low, as you see, 26-12. Off the good start by Ewing. And a reach-in foul on Randy Brown, who just came back in, replacing Walt Williams. 6:54 remaining in this first half. Last season, the Knicks took both games against Sacramento. They've won 7 of the last 8 against the Kings. 11 straight here at the Garden. Once again, Campbell coming up short. The Kings' last win at Madison Square Garden, November of '81, when the Kings were still based in Kansas City. And John, it was a fellow by the name of Ernie Grunfeld who led the Kings. 10 of 16 from the field. Campbell missed. Once again, Tony Campbell with a good opportunity. Oakley called for the foul, a push. Tony Campbell is 0 for 4 from the field. Ernie Grunfeld, now the Knicks general manager, then a member of the Kansas City Kings, shot 10 of 16, 26 points in just 22 minutes to help the KC Kings beat the Knicks the last time they won here at the Garden.
And let me tell you what effect that had on Ernie's career, Marv. The Knicks the next year had Ernie Grunfeld in a Knicks uniform.
Yes. Nice lead, Oakley for Anthony. The Knicks 50, Sacramento 39.
One game had quite an effect on the career and life of Ernie Grunfeld and his family.
You know, the Sacramento Kings have never won here at the Garden since they made the move to Sacramento. That is my fact for the day and night. Tisdale gets inside, and the Knicks now lead by 9.
I was discussing that point with Ernie before the game, and I said, you know, Ernie, that reminds me of the game I saw here in college that South Carolina's Tom Riker had against Fordham. He had 40-some-odd points. Bang, on that game, Riker became a Knick. He said, wait a minute now, don't compare the situations.
Yes. Not one of the wise draft selections by the Knicks, who certainly had their problems in that department. Those times, very little scouting went on. In fact, much of the scouting came by way of Street and Smith's basketball magazine, or who looked good at the NIT at the Garden or in the holiday festival. It was very unsophisticated. Off the steal, nice setup. Webb for Chilcutt, and the Knicks now lead 50-43.
As well as the Knicks have been playing throughout this first half, I can't think that Pat Riley's elated with what's going on at the defensive.
Hurley Sr., who is still the coach of St. Peter's. In fact, watching son Bobby, and then will leave in the third quarter to coach against Ridgewood for St. Peter's, and back at the Garden tonight to watch his other son, Danny, go up against St. John's. I should say will be coaching St. Anthony's against Ridgewood tonight. And he will be chatting with Al Troutwig at halftime. Illegal defense called. That is their first violation. 4:37 remaining first half, and the Knicks lead by 7.
Bob Hurley Sr. also sitting with his wife Christine, Bobby's mom. So much focus on the Hurley boys, Marv. I just want to mention that there is a younger sister in this family whose name is Melissa. Let's recognize the entire family while
Yes.
we're at it. You know, Melissa's
right.
Doesn't get enough press.
Oakley way off. Ewing just checked back in along with Starks. Starks the 3. Mason on the follow. The Knicks lead 52-43. So the Knicks back to a front line of Ewing, Oakley, and Mason. Starks and Rivers in the backcourt. Piflowski. That's his second field goal. The Knicks lead is now 7.
Knicks are showing a lot of softness inside in this first half as the Kings are getting a lot done close to the basket.
Nice move. Ewing draws the foul. Does not get the benefit of the doubt with the roll. Piflowski called for his third. Ewing is only 2 of 5 from the line. He's 86%. He's dropped off a bit after the good start at the free throw line. The one positive the other night against Houston, Knicks did shoot well at the line. 20 of 23 for what that is worth. From the field, only 38%, and they were killed off the board. This is Randy Brewer replacing Mike Piflowski.
Patrick Ewing's field goal percentage this year is off quite a bit from his career. Now in his 9th season, he's a 52% shooter on the average. This year he's 45 and 7/10, way off his career norm.
The Knicks 54, the Kings 45. Walt Williams thought he had Wayman Tisdale cutting.
That's why coaches sometimes aren't happy about 6'9" players dribbling the ball out front, making that initial pass inside.
Mason posting up. It counts, and the foul. Anthony Mason going right at Walt Williams.
Williams reacts strongly here. Let's see if we can see a foul by 42 here. Mason works him around, goes up. Maybe fouled his right hand, I don't know, but he was very unhappy about that. I'm sure Gary St. Jean was unhappy about the taller Williams letting this guy get him in so close to the hoop. It's Gary St. Jean, who recently had a vote of confidence issued by the Kings owner.
Although I wonder about that, you know, out in Sacramento, I guess they do that everywhere. It is labeled as the curse to get the vote of confidence, but the owner was asked about the coach. If he says no comment, he looks like it's negative towards the coach. And then if he says the proper thing, it's the dreaded vote of confidence. He can't win on that. Here's Tisdale getting inside.
Well, it was certainly a stronger vote of confidence as I've ever heard.
Gary St. Jean in his second season as the head coach of the Kings, longtime assistant for the most part under Don Nelson. And as promised, he has made. There's a steal by Oakley.
Nice pursuit by Randy Brewer at 7-4.
I don't understand. He just stepped away. You want to knock the guy down. You want to do something.
Or maybe try and block the shot. At 7-4, that's why you're in the NBA.
Oh, that is ridiculous.
That's pathetic.
Tisdale. So the Knicks now lead 59-49.
Look at Randy run up and down the court. I mean, he looks like a guy who walked in off the street. Well, he's a uniform on.
He's had problems. He has an ankle problem, and he's missed the last 3 games, and he's struggling. Mason is blocked by Brewer, and it will be Nick Ball. Bonner will come back along with Peplowski. Oakley sitting down. Charles with 4 points. And Randy Brewer departing. Starks. Bonner. Oh, nice move. All in one motion as Spud Webb got caught with Anthony Bonner. The Knicks now lead 61-49. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the half. Webb had to change his shot in midair. Last touch by the Kings. Well, the Knicks certainly doing the job off the boards this afternoon. Offensive rebounding edge, 13-4.
Tell you an amazing statistic, Marv, as I look up at the scoreboard. The Kings are shooting 61% from the field. The Knicks 50.
Starks off with the 3-point attempt. But the Knicks have taken 51 shots because of the rebounding edge, and the Kings only 35, and that's the difference. We're coming up on 1 minute remaining, first half. Rivers trying to use the screen, setting up Ewing. Patrick Ewing getting inside. He has 22. The Knicks 63, the Kings 49.
Patrick is using his size advantage and his overall ability by taking the ball closer and closer to the hoop.
Here's Starks, foul. Foul committed by Wayman Tisdale, and John Starks will go to the free throw line. The Knicks with an 11-4 run to take their biggest lead of the game. Knicks led by as many as 10 in the first quarter, had a 4-point lead at the end of one. Now Tony Campbell is back. Patrick Ewing sitting down. And Mike Peplowski will sit down. Evers Burns, a rookie from Maryland, 2nd-round draft pick, makes his first appearance. A wide-bodied 6'8", about 260 pounds.
John Starks says, I want to focus on his foul shooting, missing that one, but he's at 89 8/10. He's a shade under the league leaders, the top 10 in the NBA at the foul line.
Starks for 3. He's been off 2 of 10 from the field. Bonner hits the floor in a collision with Burns. And it's called on Bonner. That's his first. The Knicks are over the limit, so Burns will go to the free throw line. He has been to the line only once in his NBA career, 0 for 1. Rookie from Maryland, averaged 18 points as a senior, teammate of Walt Williams at Maryland. But, John, this is a guy who certainly, you know, Walt Williams to the line. I had a good story about Burns. Can we make a switch? Burns, a guy that boosted his stock by being named to the all-tournament teams at two of those postseason scouting combines at Portsmouth and Phoenix. And as a result, he's on the roster.
That means a lot. Those postseason matchups are very important to the future of players who are not really big time in college.
10 on the shot clock, 15 in the quarter. And a reach-in foul on Brown. Both teams have been over the limit. 10 seconds remaining in this second quarter.
John Starks with the little eye fakes there. Slowly delivered, but then he gets it done. Enjoying the foul. Marv, how happy do you think the Knicks are? Of course, they're not really reflecting on it. I'm sure that Mitch Richmond isn't playing in this game. The leading scorer for the Kings, an unstoppable force. The guy who many in the NBA feel is the best shooting guard in the NBA. He's got a sore toe. He was out here warming up before the game. But he's a monster. He's a 6'5" monster in the backcourt that is never denied. He is the top scoring guard in the NBA right now.
Final seconds of the second quarter. Knicks have a 14-point lead. Webb got followed up. Campbell with the steal and then lost it. Time runs out in this first half. It's the Knicks 65 and the Sacramento Kings 51. In a moment, I'll be talking with Bobby Hurley Sr., coach at St. Anthony's High School and proud father of both Bobby.
But in the end, they've got a 14-point lead over the Sacramento Kings, who haven't won at the Garden in 11 years. In a moment, we'll talk to Bobby Hurley Sr., who's written a book entitled Divided Loyalties. Divided because he's the father of Danny of Seton Hall and Bobby today, and because, of course, he is also a man who coaches the game of basketball. As recently as last year, he wore some MSG microphones. Let's listen in.
Diamond, 202. 202. Come on, Rod. Rod, go from there and let's go. Come on. Freaking like it's in the
Well, Bobby Sr. joins us now. He's here obviously watching Bobby. He is still the coach at St. Anthony. They'll scrimmage this afternoon and then back tonight at the Garden to watch Danny play here at the Garden with Seton Hall. One traffic jam and your day is ruined.
Yeah, well, I'm counting on the path train to be on time. I left the car in Jersey City, and I'll take the path train back, pick up the kids, go to Ridgewood, drive back to Jersey City, take the path train over again.
Bobby, how have you handled keeping the family together and intact with Bobby being so far away? And
well, you know, Al, the hardest part is the time change right now, the 3-hour time change. Every time Bobby thinks, I think, to call us, it's probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're having these strange phone calls where we, get up the next morning. We know we had a conversation, but my wife and I aren't real sure what happened.
Now, he's going to be fine, but obviously there have been struggles so far in this season. What are the conversations like? Because it's not the normal father-son relationship. This is a son with a father who's obviously a very intelligent and successful coach.
Well, I think what we are now is we try to be, we got a new satellite dish. So we now can see all the games that Bobby's playing. So I make some observations and try to be very positive because, these are the greatest players in the world. And the dream was to be able to do this someday, and he's doing it. So we want him to enjoy this experience because it's phenomenal. And because he's won for so long, he can't figure this whole thing out right now.
First and third quarter, that's what Gary St. Jean is doing with your son.
Yeah.
How do you avoid telling him what he wants to hear, what you think he needs to hear, and not maybe saying bad things about the coach, which could create a tough situation for him?
Well, the simple thing is that I'm a coach, and I think all coaches respect what other coaches do. And as I watch them play, I can see what's going on right now. You've got a veteran point guard who has to play. They've got to get him some time, and you've got a young player. And at the same time, you perhaps may want to trade players along the way. So I think when you have a roster like they have, they may want to show all their players on a regular basis so that they can perhaps make some deals in the future.
Bobby, I'm sure you're asked this a lot. We're going to get a chance to see your son Danny in action. Compare the abilities of your two sons.
Well, Danny's a little bit more of a scorer, and I think in these next 2 years now, the next 2 years at Seton Hall, we'll see Danny shoot the ball a little bit more. And I think he's going to, you know, have some good success in these next 2 years. And I think PJ is counting on him to be an important part of what they're doing.
How is he handling the pressure of comparison?
Well, it's always been there. You know, since they were small, they were always on different teams 2 years apart. I think Bobby being in Sacramento is very good for Danny now. Gives him a chance to be his own person here.
Bobby, thanks very much. It's good to see you. You have a very busy day.
Thank you, Al. My pleasure.
Bobby Hurley, Sr., the coach at St. Anthony, the father, of course, of Bobby of the Kings and Danny of Seton Hall. Back with more highlights and scorers in a moment on MSG.
Shipping a package to Omaha?
That's talking about the first half in which the Knicks outscored the Sacramento Kings by 14, 65-51. Here's the Tri-State Jeep and Eagle Dealer scoring summary. Let's start it out with Patrick Ewing. He's going up against the likes of Randy Brewer and Mike Peplowski. He's got 22 points in the first half. Ewing doing that on 9 of 13 shooting with 4 rebounds. After that, Anthony Bonner, impressive again off the bench. Sacramento Kings led by the L Train, 16 points. He's using his speed, 6 or 12 from the floor. 10 points for Wayman Tisdale as well. That is the story in the first half. Now, one thing to update, we've been told by the Knicks that Charles Smith seems to have re-aggravated his injured left knee, felt some pain in practice, and that is why he hasn't seen action. Anthony Bonner responding. The Knicks getting some help off the bench, which they didn't get in their loss against Houston.
Yeah, well, this is a lesser team. Their defense is one of the worst in the league. So a valiant effort by, I think, the Kings putting up a good fight early on, especially for the halftime. But also a good, I think, dishing and swishing by the Knicks on the offense, especially Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, especially Patrick Ewing. He's the star of our highlight recap of the first half. As always, the highlights brought to you by Minolta, makers of the new Freedom 105EX, only from the mind of Minolta. Let's start it off with Patrick Ewing running and then getting a great look from John Starks from behind the mask.
Yeah, this play epitomizes Ewing first half. Watch Starks with the alley-oop, Patrick with the nasty stuff.
And now we'll look at a Patrick Ewing move that we don't see very often.
Well, again, this is not Hakeem Olajuwon, so Ewing able to face up to Peplowski, knowing that Ewing has the quickness. He beats him into the paint for the finger roll.
Hubert Davis, 8 points in 11 minutes off the bench and 2 assists. Here's one of the better ones.
Well, Davis, a lethal perimeter shooter, so they have to come up on him. This creates the opportunity for Mason to go back door.
The Sacramento Kings are battered and bruised. They need offense from anyone, and Lionel Simmons providing a bit in the first half.
Yeah, the L Train, 6'7", 215. Good dexterity here as he comes up with the good stuff.
Clyde, let's go back to what we talked about in Knicks game night, the pregame. The Knicks responding after the loss. What do you see?
Well, I thought they came out somewhat energized. Well, the main guys we just alluded to was Patrick Ewing. Obviously, he's out of the doldrums, rejuvenated. And he was one of the main culprits in the loss against Houston. He was not himself.
All right, Clyde, that's our recap here at halftime. When we come back, Marv Albert, John Andres, the second half at the Garden, 65-51 Knicks.
Get a full half hour of interviews, features, and highlights only on Nobody Beats the Wiz Jets Journal. Tonight at 6, here on MSG Network.
You can... To an athlete, a world championship is the highlight of a career. I'm Dave DeBuscher, and 20 years ago, my teammates and I, the 1973 New York Knicks, won the NBA World Championship.
5-51 lead. The Knicks got a 3-for-5 shooting performance from Anthony Bonner. That's 60%. It's the continuation of how he's been playing. And moments ago, he was honored as the Sharp Electronics Sharpshooter of the Month. That's right. In September, he shot almost 72% from the floor. Janice Schopper, assistant trade show manager for Sharp, making the presentation. A color TV and a VCR will be presented in Anthony Bonner's name to his favorite charity. That moments ago here at the Garden. Now live, the Knicks and the Sacramento Kings getting set for the second half. Marv Albert and John Andres will call it.
Thank you, Al. And Anthony Bonner had an excellent first half. The Kings shot 54%, but only 37 shot attempts. The Knicks at 49%. But they had 53 attempts. As a result, they're up by 14. Knicks with the advantage off the boards, 27-17, dominating off the offensive board. Kings with 12 turnovers, the Knicks with only 4. And the Knicks able to take advantage off the turnovers.
Offensive rebounding expressed best by Anthony Bonner. He had 4 of the Knicks' 13. The Knicks leading also in the steals department. This game is going as expected. There's no question about the respective strengths of both teams. I don't think anybody's surprised who's here today. Pat Riley always thinking, no, I don't think he's that happy with the offense as the offensive success, rather, of Sacramento, in that they made 54% of their shots despite taking 16 fewer shots than the Knicks in the first half.
Looks like the Knicks only had 4 players ready to go, and Anthony Bonner is starting the second half rather than Charles Oakley. It does not appear that Charles is on the bench. Looks like the Knicks did not. Peplowski is blocked from behind by Ewing. That caused the confusion. Oakley was apparently still in the locker room. We'll have to check that out. So Bonner, a late addition to the starting lineup here at the beginning of the third quarter. Bonner gets right to it, and the foul. Hey, Oakley may not be able to get back onto the floor.
What a terrific move that is by Bonner. We have the benefit of replay, a little fake. That's making the backboard your friend. You don't have to be as delicate on the shot. Just bang it off the board.
Peplowski called for the foul as fourth. We also received word just moments ago. We were speculating about the decision making of the Knicks, with Bonner getting the call early rather than Charles Smith. It turns out Charles told the coaching staff that his knee was bothering him during the course of the warm-ups, so he is sitting it out. That's a tip by Brown, and the Knicks now lead 68-53. Charles Smith re-aggravated the injury in the game against Houston the other night, so Charles Smith sitting it out with a knee problem. Rolando Blackman also out of action because of the flu. He is not with the club. And now Charles Oakley is back on the bench. Nice ball movement. Mason tied up. Mason on the recovery. And Bonner with the steal of the bucket. It counts, and the foul. The one-time Sacramento King Anthony Bonner is having a big day against the Kings.
He's so quick to the loose ball in the air, and he has such a heart, fierceness in his competitive ways. He's making quite a statement here today. A very positive statement, which will result in a lot more playing time, that's for sure.
So Bonner with 14 points. The high man is Ewing with 22. Lionel Simmons leading the Kings with 16. And the foul on Rivers. Well, we've just received the official word as to why Charles Oakley was late in coming onto the court for the second half. We're told that he was back in the locker room changing his shorts, John. Turns out to be a terrific strategic move, because Anthony Bonner is off to the fast start here in the third quarter. The old changing the shorts routine. This starts with no one in sight. So the Knicks extend to a 20-point lead, and a timeout taken by the Kings, a 20-second timeout.
Well, the Knicks working a little harder on defense now, and as a result getting shots like this after that nice pass from Ewing.
8-2 run by the Knicks. There's Charles Oakley looking on.
Marv, after that first half of play, we see Bobby Hurley back in the lineup. Again, to repeat what we said earlier, the coaching staff of the Kings has been playing him in the first and third quarters, and Spud Webb in the second and fourth quarters, much to the displeasure of Kings fans out west. But you know, many people here today are anxious to see Bobby Hurley play, so we're looking forward to seeing him do his thing a little more. Had a quiet first half, only 0 for 2 from the field, and he had 3 assists.
Bonner went for the steal and was called for that foul. 2 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Here's Hurley for Simmons. Well, chalk up another assist for Bobby Hurley. The Knicks 73 and the Kings 55. Ewing leaning, looking for Peplowski, who stepped away, and Ewing went down.
He hurt himself.
Hurley and Brown in the backcourt. Simmons up front with Tisdale and Peplowski. John Starks did not have a good shooting first half. 2 of 10. Here's Ewing. Mason on the rebound. Mason. And Tisdale with the save. Hurley all the way. Starks trying to set up Bonner. It'll be Sacramento ball. Now Walt Williams getting set to check back in. Are they allowing the substitution? No. Gary St. Jean try to replace Poplawski with Williams. The Kings have lost 5 in a row. 4 straight losses at home. They're 4 up and 10 down. They come off a home loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves on Wednesday. And this is the start of a 4-game road trip. Tisdale was hacked. Kings will be in Indiana, Boston, and Philly during the course of the week. Now Williams being waved on. Poplawski will depart. Bonner called for that foul, his third.
Well, way back in 1985, the man at the foul line, Wayman Tisdale out of Oklahoma, was the #2 draft choice in the NBA. Patrick Ewing that year was #1. Tisdale now in his contract year, meaning as an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season. He and the Kings will have some severe decision making to make. Do they want to pay the price and keep him, or do they want to let him go? 18 points a game so far, the 3rd leading scorer on this team.
Wayman returning to action the other night against Minnesota. Missed a couple of games with a sprained left ankle. He has not been shooting well recently. The Knicks lead 73-56. Shot clock at 5. Ewing. And here's Hurley on a 4-on-2. Nice look away for Brown, and a foul. Bumped by Starks. Good setup from Hurley for Brown.
In analyzing Bobby Hurley's opening month here in the NBA, talking to Jerry Reynolds again, their general manager. Happens to be a very nice guy.
Yes, he is.
Very funny guy, too. Good sense of humor.
Mentioned when you walked away from him, he said, I don't like the guy. But, Johnny,
I'd like to hear that in replay, though.
But
he was very good, Marv. He was telling me that he said, I remember John Stockton's first year in the NBA. He said Hurley is right with him as far as relative comparisons as rookies. They feel Bobby Hurley is going to be very big in the NBA. And he said one of the things inhibiting him right now is the fact that we're not a good rebounding team. Patrick Ewing on another solid move. He started the game with a move like that, and he's continued. Ewing driving across the middle. Tisdale just in heavy retreat, letting Patrick do that, and still committing the foul. You commit the foul, you might as well deny the shot anyway.
Were you in the midst of a story?
My Bobby Hurley story. Anyway, they feel that because this team isn't a running team and not a good rebounding team, the greatness of Bobby Hurley at Duke University was in the open floor. That's where he is really terrific. Well, he's not getting a chance to show those skills with this team because they don't run and they don't rebound as well as they hope to in the future. But when they get that kind of team, why Bobby Hurley will shine.
And here's Hurley shining with the jump shot. That's his first field goal. The nerve of the electronic wizard Howie Singer and our director Bobby Lewis to break up your fascinating dissertation with replays. It just takes you right out of your game, John.
But you know, Marv, it all works out in the end, you know.
Bonner called for the foul, his fourth.
Bobby Hurley stamped that little tail with a jump shot. His first one of the game. How nice. Don't we work well together, Hurley and I?
It's great. And Bonner hears it from the crowd as Oakley makes his return. Williams stopped by Mason. 15 on the 24. It will be Sacramento in possession. The Knicks lead 76-59. Once again, Kings have difficulty getting the ball in play from the baseline. Simmons with the head fake. And Oakley rebounds.
That was a drive fling, you know.
Ewing going to work on Tisdale. With that decisive height advantage. Tisdale about 6'8", maybe 6'9".
Maybe 6'8½.
I wonder if he's 6'8". He's listed at 6'9".
Well, you know what he did, Marv? He got this severe haircut, as many of the NBA players have done. So he lost a half an inch on top.
Oakley called for the foul, his third. Wayman in his 9th year out of Oklahoma, the first player in college basketball history to be first-team All-American in his first 3 years. Wayman Tisdale.
I'll tell you something even more important than that. A great base player. And we witnessed it last year in Salt Lake City at the All-Star game. He's so good, Marv, that he's been invited to and has accepted and has played with the great David Sanborn. How about that?
Wayman is an all-around guy, has interest in a minor league basketball team, has several other entrepreneurial activities. 78-61, Knicks by 17. 5 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Rivers trying to create his own shot. Well, Oakley finding Mason. The Knicks lead 80-61. The matchup remains Ewing going against Tisdale. The Knicks take a timeout with 6.5 to go in the third.
Or daughters, use good sense and drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
A reminder coming up on Monday night, the Knicks and the Utah Jazz in Salt Lake City, Utah. That'll be 9 o'clock airtime in New York. Knicks game night at 8:30. Again, very nice artistic graphic put together by the staff, John. Karl Malone in a dramatic pose. The Knicks and the Jazz on Monday night, then Tuesday night at the Forum in Los Angeles. Or I should say the Great Western Forum. It'll be the Knicks and the Lakers Thursday night. Knicks at Golden State. Starks. Pretty lead from Oakley. The Knicks lead 82-61.
That's Charles Oakley imitating a good point guard delivering that pass.
Brown rejected by Oakley. Knicks again on the run. Starks had it knocked away by Hurley. The Knicks have led right throughout. They lead here by 21. 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Charles Oakley with his third field goal. 3 out of 5, 6 points.
That was so pretty. He looked to see if he could give it up, saw no one, and then reacted quickly and to stick that jump shot.
And the Kings shooting has fallen off here in the third quarter. Leg block called. Randy Brown getting a piece of it. Knicks get the new 24.
You know what a great minute Charles Oakley's just had, as we see the Knicks almost doubling the output of the Kings on the boards. Led a fast break perfectly, deflected a shot, blocked the shot at one end, and then hit a jump shot from the corner, all in a minute.
Well, more comfortable in the shorts. Made the change late during the intermission, allowing Anthony Bonner to start the second half. Here's Starks, and the Knicks pulling away now. 86-61 lead, and Gary St. Jean wants a timeout. The Knicks have hit 9 of 14 from the field here in the third, while Sacramento only 3 of 11.
5-6-0-7-3. What a stocking stuffer.
Coming up on 5 minutes remaining third quarter, and the Knicks lead 86-61. Walt Williams handling in a one-on-one and then fires one up. Bad play, but he'll get credit. It's a goaltend on Charles Oakley. Oakley called for goaltending.
Charles up around the rim on that play. Charles doesn't often go above the rim, but he did on that play.
The Knicks 86 and Sacramento 63 off a double team. Ewing not able to hit. Oakley stripped, and a foul is called.
That's an example of Charles Oakley taking up space. Moves right around the boards. Carves a position for himself with three Kings around him. Lets everybody know he's there.
The foul was committed by Walt Williams. Charles Oakley at the line for the first time today. Well, Charles Oakley at 12.5 rebounds per game, now 4th in the league behind Rodman, Olajuwon, and Barkley. Barkley and his Phoenix Suns knocking off the Nets last night, so the Nets have dropped to 5-11. Phoenix at 10 up and 3 down in a battle in the Pacific with Seattle. Seattle at 12-1. Sacramento at the bottom of the Pacific at 4-10. Here's Williams. The Knicks 88 and the Kings 65.
Knicks looking to work the ball inside. Finally get it into Anthony Mason. They're certainly playing catch. The Kings picking them up a little better defensively.
Rivers tried the three-pointer. Knicks keep it alive. Starks. He had a clear path to the basket. Knicks lead by 25. Foul committed by Starks. His third. The Knicks at 9-3, leading the Atlantic by 2 over Boston. Boston Celtics have been a surprising team. Nice victory last night at home against Portland. They're 9-7. Those of you who missed the news last night, Atlanta stopping Houston, dealing the Rockets their first loss. The Atlanta Hawks, another surprise. And they scored 133 points against the Rockets last night. 133-111. So Atlanta has won 10 straight. They are 11-4. And an impressive victory for Denver last night over Charlotte, 102-94. Denver Nuggets, an improved ball club. They are 7-7. Ewing with the save, but Peplowski picked it off. Simmons for Brown. Randy Brown goes to the reverse. The Knicks 90 and the Kings 68 with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left, third quarter. Ewing, he's called for a travel.
Well, the Knicks are a little flat now. They're continuing to work hard, and the Kings are competing well despite the severe difference on the scoreboard in favor of the Knicks.
Oh, nice move. A leader by Walt Williams. The Knicks 90 and the Kings 70. And Williams is 5 out of 5 from the field. He has 13 points. Mason got the step.
This is only Williams' 7th game. He's only played half the games this year because of an injury. But the Kings feel that Walt Williams is destined for stardom. He's only in his 2nd year now. Averaged 17 a game last year as a rookie, but only played in 59 games because of injuries. He's not in tip-top shape right now, but he's one of these guys that makes scoring look easy.
They just reset the 24. Oh, beautiful look-away lead thrown by Rivers. Patrick Ewing has 29 points.
Well, we're just not treated to passing like that very often. That's a second beauty by Rivers today.
Last touched by Lionel Simmons, who had said, oh, no, to Tommy Wood, who said, oh, yes.
Doc Rivers last time down saw Patrick Ewing as he went across the top of the circle, and he whipped that ball to him, and Ewing was right on.
Ewing. Oakley missed the tip. Rebounded by Peplowski. The The Knicks lead 92-7. Here's Webb blowing by. Simmons. The Knicks by 20 with just under 2 minutes remaining third quarter. And offensive foul. Ewing moving. Call for a block. Illegal pick. And now Simmons will sit down. Chilcutt checks back in. Simmons leads with 20 points. Oh, look out. Webb colliding with Ewing, and Spud is shaken up.
How could there not be a foul on Ewing on that play? He was moving and just clobbered Webb.
May have had position, John. I don't know. May have established it, but Spud took a shot.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I thought he was moving.
Hard to tell on the slow-mo. That is not a criticism of the staff. Let me point that out.
Well, the call by myself.
Right. Foul committed by Mason.
Ewing clobbering Brown on that moving pick that was called by Ewing.
And now Williams to the line. He's 3 out of 4. The Knicks 92 and the Kings 73. Walt Williams, a very versatile player. When he handles the ball, he can force some difficult matchups. That was the case here today, although as it turns out, did not matter because the Knicks have been so dominant against the Kings. Greg Anthony has come on, replacing Doc Rivers. So Anthony and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing with Mason and Oakley on the front line. 3-second violation called on Mason.
3-second violation.
Minute 20 remaining in the third. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutman, Walt Frazier from the Garden. Here's Webb. Spud Webb. And for Spud, his first field goal. The Knicks 92, the Kings 75. Starks with the step. And he drew the foul.
Well, I sense that because of Spud Webb playing now in the third quarter that we might see Bobby Hurley in the fourth quarter for a surprise by Gary St. Jean.
Well, if that were to be the case, it really does not matter if the game is out of sight. I think Gary St. Jean, at least in the early going of the season, wanted to keep Bobby Hurley away from the pressure of playing in the fourth quarter, but this appears to be a commanding victory for the Knicks. They have led by as many as 25. Right here have a 17-point advantage. Just under 1 minute remaining in this third quarter. Paplowski's pass picked off.
Great work by Ewing going out to double team and then reverting back quickly to the position where he could steal that pass.
Oakley on the follow. And Webb pushes it down. Lead for Brown, did not connect. And Starks is held. Chilcutt preventing the fast break. Both clubs are over the limit. Starks to the line. John Starks not shooting well today. 3 of 8 from the line. 6 of 14 from the field, although he has picked it up from the field after the 2 for 10. In the first half, he's hit all 4 shot attempts in the third quarter. 29 seconds remaining in the third. The Knicks lead 94-75. Patrick Ewing is the high point man of the game with 29. Lionel Simmons with 20. John Starks with 18. Webb working against Anthony. Chilcutt off the screen. eluding Oakley. The Knicks 95, the Kings 77, down to 10 seconds to go in the quarter.
I like the way Chilcott shoots that ball. He's a good jump shooter.
Anthony. After 3 here at the Garden, it's the Knicks 95 and the Sacramento Kings 77.
Can you handle this?
Would be nice.
The BMW 325IS is priced a lot less than the Lexus SC300.
I can handle it.
The BMW 525i costs less than the Acura Legend GS.
I can handle that.
And the BMW 740i is over $10,000 less than the Mercedes S320.
We can handle it.
So if you can handle it leasing, go ahead. Pick the BMW you've always wanted.
I can handle that.
It's easier to handle than you think at your tri-state BMW dealer.
Of all the credit cards out there, only one has Smart Rate, now as low as 14.9% and no annual fee. Discover Card. It's a better deal. It pays to discover.
Some familiar faces on the coaching staff of the Sacramento Kings. Assistants Mike Schuler to the left. Fast Eddie Jordan, the former standout with Rutgers and in the NBA. The other assistant, Mike Bratz, one-time member of the Phoenix Suns. And the Kings trailing 95-77, make it a 20-point differential as this fourth quarter gets underway. Ewing has 31 points. Sacramento facing its 6th straight loss. Bobby Hurley is back on the floor in this fourth quarter. So Hurley and Brown in the backcourt. Chilcott with another opportunity. The Knicks with Ewing, Mason, Oakley up front, Starks and Anthony in the backcourt.
Even when Chilcott misses, it's somewhat impressive in that his shots are always around the rim and soft.
But this guy's still looking for his niche and has not shot well recently. He's played all 3 positions in the front court. He's been bothered by back problems, particularly last year. Here's Hurley. Oh, nice throw by Bobby Hurley. That's his 2nd field goal. He has 4 points. The Knicks 97, the Kings 79.
Bobby Hurley's been working hard on the 3-point shot in the NBA. He's only made 2 of them this season.
And Hurley leads the break. Broke it up. And a follow by Williams. So the Knicks now lead 97 to 81.
That's a taste of Bobby Hurley's abilities on a break, and they're special abilities.
Matchup is now Chilcott against Ewing. Mason, yes. Anthony Mason, 5 out of 10, 11 points. The Knicks lead by 18. Hubert Davis getting set to report back in. Here's Simmons. And the Knicks are up 99-83.
One of the difficult parts of Bobby Hurley's adjustment to the NBA as the Knicks push the ball inside with Mason drawing the foul has been him getting used to losing. When Bobby reflects on his career at St. Anthony's in Jersey City, a 4-year career there, of course, 5 losses, only 5 losses in 4 years in high school. And then at Duke, which included 2 NCAA championships in that 4-year period, 26 losses out of 140 games. So Bobby Hurley, whose dad left to coach St. Anthony's in their game this afternoon, leaving Mom behind. Bobby Hurley has to get used to life in the NBA, which includes a lot of losing. Right now they're 4-10 coming in today, so that's the shock of a guy who's so successful in his career prior to coming to the NBA.
Hurley lost his balance, and here's Anthony. The Knicks 102 and the Kings 83 with 9.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. Here's Brown. Randy Brown And the Knicks now lead 102-85. Davis. And it is slapped out of bounds. Last touch by the Kings. Here's Tony Campbell replacing Anthony Mason. 12 points, 7 rebounds for Mason.
Kind of interesting that Pat Riley's not fooling around. He's not assuming victory. He's leaving Ewing out there with Charles Oakley.
Sacramento bench wanted a walk on Ewing as he took that pass and put the brakes on. Last touch by the Kings. The Knicks have 17 on the 24, and Campbell throws in. Davis played tightly by Brown. Anthony. Well, no hesitation with the jump shot here today. Of course, no pressure as Greg Anthony is able to hit. And the Knicks lead 104-85. That's a three-point attempt by Williams. Davis. Look out, Oakley in a collision with Simmons. And Charles called for the loose ball foul. That's his 4th foul. Wayman Tisdale checking back in. And now Charles Oakley sits down. Anthony Bonner, who has played well, back on the floor. And now the Knicks made a change. Oakley was headed to the bench. Instead, he'll stay, and Patrick Ewing will get a rest. So Oakley, Bonner, and Campbell up front. Bonner with the steal. Here's Campbell for Bonner. Rebound Anthony. Oakley. And it will be Nick Ball. Last touch by the Kings, but the Knicks continue to dominate off the offensive backboard. 52 rebounds for the Knicks. That is a season high. We still have 8 minutes remaining in the game. Davis putting a move on Jim Less, who just came on for the first time. Campbell, and a loose ball foul is called. A pushing foul on the Kings. Tisdale assessed his 5th foul. And Evers Burns, the rookie from Maryland, has come on once again, played briefly in the first half. Anthony going to the reverse, took the hit from Burns.
Boy, where do you see 2 NBA players in the backcourt at 6 feet? Bobby Hurley at 6 feet. Jim Less in there now at 5'11". That's a rare sight in this day and age of 6'7", 6'9" backcourt men.
Herb Williams checking in, hearing it from the crowd, replacing Charles Oakley. Oakley 8 points, 15 rebounds. So Charles surpassing his season average with the 15 boards.
But you know, Marv, based on the game the other day, and I really think this is going to be good for this team as they move along. They can beat the Kings by 20, 30, and they're just going to walk out of here tonight like it was another day at the office, as we've often heard. That's the trite phrase used, and they're going to be humble now, and that's going to be good for this team.
Evers Burns, 2nd round draft pick of Sacramento, first of 3 second-round picks. Knicks 106, the Kings 87. Davis strip. Here comes Less. Less has Hurley, and Hurley finishes it off. His 3rd field goal. He has 6 points. The Knicks lead 106-89 with 5 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. Davis was trying to lose Less on a pick. Now Davis from outside. Rebounded by Tisdale. Tisdale. And Campbell off the boards. Campbell, Bonner, Williams up front, Anthony and Davis at the guards. Campbell with the head fake. Yes. Strong move by Tony Campbell. That's his first field goal. He had missed his previous 7 shot attempts. Simmons called for the offensive foul. Used the shoulder.
Yes, he went into the defensive man's area, and the defense has their own area that they're allowed to work in.
Timeout is called with 6:09 left in the game.
Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to Bakersville?
Sure. Take 23 north to M34 east to I-14 south, and you're there.
Thanks.
You bet.
Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to Bakersville?
Head right over those mountains.
Thanks.
There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers.
Foot Locker definitely has the shoes. Adidas, Feelers,
Asics, Converse,
Reeboks, and Nikes.
They answer all your questions.
Got these in black? Yeah, we got them. Let me measure you up. These guys are in here all the time.
They have hats, shirts, jackets.
They know their stuff.
So it's going to provide support.
But you gotta look good so like the girls, you know, they notice you.
I hate it when you go into another store and they say, sorry, we're out.
Foot Locker has the shoes and the sizes.
I'm a size 13.
13, man. I'm gonna put it to par.
Giving beats everything, and nobody beats the Wiz.
This Christmas at Nobody Beats the Wiz, let Kenwood take your ears places they've never been before. Pick up this Dolby Pro Logic surround receiver or Kenwood Spectrum 721B, the sound system that does it all. And for the discriminating music lover, the unique Kenwood UD system with environmental sound enhancement. For Christmas, as always, nobody beats the Wiz.
Herb Williams checking in just a moment ago, had not played at all this evening, and Herb can think back in his memory bank one of his most pleasant moments in the NBA as a member of the Indiana Pacers back in January of '86. Here it is from 81 feet away. Herb Williams just flipping one all the way down court, and John, it happened to carry all the way and right through. Unbelievable shot.
Boy, that crowd was a little late in showing up to see that tremendous shot of Herb. But thanks to the benefit of replay, that memory lives on.
January 8th, 1986, as a member of the Indiana Pacers against the Kings. And Hubert Davis extends to a 110-89 lead.
This has been an excellent performance today by Hubert Davis.
10 points for Davis. Campbell from Anthony. The Knicks 112 and the Kings 89 with 5.5 remaining in the game.
This game has also served to help Greg Anthony. He's gotten some substantial playing time, and I'm sure that his confidence has been lifted today. He's hit a couple of jumpers, and he's done some nice things in the backcourt for the Knicks.
Campbell called for the foul on the three-point specialist, Jim Less. Now Hurley sits down, replaced by Webb. Lionel Simmons departs. Walt Williams is back. Simmons with 22. Hurley 6 points and 4 assists. This type of game can't get a real feel for the play of the point guard Bobby Hurley. Played decently, I would have to say, as in a game that is, you had the feeling out of sight right from the opening tip.
Well, it's still true, Marv. When you see him handle the ball on the break, you can see why there was a strong rumor that the Knicks were trying to get a draft position that the Kings had so they could pick up Bobby Hurley.
And among rookies, he and Nick Van Exel, a surprise with the LA Lakers, are leading the way, each averaging 6 points, rather 6 assists per game. We'll see Nick Van Exel with the Lakers on Tuesday. But I don't think there's any question as we have discussed. Oh, look out. Bonner taken down. He was fouled. He's all right. It is a holding foul on Webb.
Right to the top of that rebound so fast, and he gets massaged. his former teammates.
They're calling it a flagrant. Like Anthony Bonner landed on his wrist, so he'll shoot the 2. Spud Webb disagreeing with the call. And Bonner will shoot 2, and the Knicks will have possession. Getting back to the subject of Bobby Hurley, I don't think there's any question about this kid's future in the league. Once Sacramento is able to put together a better supporting cast, and there are several fine individual players, but still a long way to go. I think we're looking at a guy who's going to have a long, excellent career in the league.
Well, the big rumor in the offseason was that the Knicks were going to try and make a trade to Sacramento to get the rights to the draft pick and go for Bobby Hurley. So it seemed there was a lot of interest in him from this franchise.
Loose ball foul called on the Knicks. It's on Bonner. That's 5 on the one-time Sacramento King, Anthony Bonner. Williams kept alive by Les. Jim Les has not been getting the playing time. Only 29 minutes on the court prior to this afternoon. Nice spin by Tisdale. And the Knicks now lead 113-91. We're down to 4 minutes remaining in the game. That's a 3-point attempt. Burns with the rebound.
I'd like you to repeat the Burns story, Marv, now that he's on the court.
Yes. No, he was on the court. He just did go to the line, and I had a fine setup after much research.
I have a better feel for him now, though. The words a lot more meaning. If you care to come back to it at some point.
I made the point for those who may have missed it earlier, although if you are among those out there watching both the live action and then the replay tonight, that'll be 4 stories on Evers Burns. Looking at it that way, he's a guy who impressed at some of the postseason camps at the Combine at Portsmouth and Phoenix, and moved up in the draft, 2nd-round pick. It counts and the foul. Hubert Davis was hacked, and he'll go to the line.
Nice move by Hubert with the left hand. 2nd time today he's shown how versatile he is with the normal not shooting hand.
Drug and alcohol addiction in the world of professional sports. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Page. 2 former Major League Baseball pitchers talk about that subject on the next Page 1.
If you want to lease a Ford, buy a Ford, or service a Ford, you cannot do better than Able Ford of Rockville Center, your super-friendly Ford store, and a whole lot more. At Able of Rockville Center, you can always feel confident you're getting the very best deals and the very best service on Ford cars or trucks.
Able Ford of Rockville Center, your super-friendly Ford store, and a whole lot more.
Timberland, known worldwide for unsurpassed quality, makes the right boots and shoes for any activity. Goldman Brothers, known island-wide as Timberland headquarters, has the Timberland boots and shoes you want in stock and in your size. Stop by Goldman Brothers on Broadway in Hicksville for Timberland boots and shoes and for all your sporting equipment, apparel, and footwear needs.
Family owned and operated.
Well, here's an invitation to hold your next business or social event at the world's most famous arena here at Madison Square Garden. For more information, call 212-465-6483.
.327 remaining in the 4th quarter, and the Knicks lead the Kings 115-91.
Well, I'd like to clarify a non-shooting hand. I drifted into that shot.
I heard you mention that.
Yeah, yes. I think it could be confusing to my play-by-play partner here. What I meant to point out was normally Hubert shoots with his right hand, and he shot that ball with his left hand for the 2nd time tonight.
It's clear to me.
Quite successfully.
Very humble on your part. In other words, you're indicating that the phrase was a bit on the pathetic or ridiculous side.
I was playing with the English language, and I fell on my
very humble
non-shooting hand.
Well, we have spent most of the second half in extensive garbage time. The Knicks up 116 to 91. Here's Les. And it's a 4-on-2. Anthony Bonner. 17 points for Bonner. That's a three-point attempt. Bonner has matched his Knick season high. And a traveling violation called on Herb Williams. 2:49 remaining in the game. The Knicks about to make it a record of 10-3. Sacramento Kings will drop their 6th straight and go to 4-11. Williams called for that elbowing foul. Knicks with their 4th team foul, so it is a non-shooting affair, and Jim Les will throw it in. Les and Webb in the backcourt. Poplawski is out there again, along with Burns and Williams. Here's Webb for three.
This team's only three-point threat is Mitch Richmond, who, as we mentioned earlier, is not playing today. He's made 15 for the season.
Offensive foul.
No one is close to that, although Jim has distinguished himself in prior years with three-point shooting. But the Knicks are happy. I'm sure that Mitch Richmond wasn't here today to bother them.
Well, Mitch Richmond bothered by the toe injury. On the bench, second from the right. His credentials are well known, averaging 24 points per game. That is first among NBA guards.
Just got a sense that he goes to Anthony Mason's barber. Little angle shot there. A lot of the players going with the shorter look these days.
Knicks lead 118-93. Bonner with the pick. And Bonner over Poplawski, trying to go glass. Williams with the rebound, and he's fouled. They surrounded Herb Williams. Foul called on Burns. Well, this the perfect game for the Knicks following the disappointment, the alarming loss as categorized by some. The loss to the Houston Rockets on Thursday night. And that a game I don't think, as we discussed earlier, that will be completely wiped away until the Knicks are able to defeat one of the well-respected opponents. Burns gets inside. And you don't have it on this upcoming trip, although it's a tough trip when you play on the road on the coast. It is always difficult at Utah, at L.A., and at Golden State. But I think to validate themselves, the Knicks will need a win against the likes of either Seattle or Phoenix, or in the rematch against the Rockets.
Yes, Marv, I must say I don't think I've met many people who didn't think the Knicks prior to the game against Houston were going to win the championship here in New York. Everybody's gotten so enthused about the team this year, and that's why the game was so disappointing to the Knicks themselves, of course, and to their many fans. So they've got to build it up again. But the great part of this NBA schedule, as John Starks pointed out, was that there's another game right away, and now the Knicks have certainly gotten somewhat back on track here today, and some confidence has been restored.
Herb Williams. Well, Herb, a crowd favorite, connects on his first field goal. He has 3 points. The Knicks 121 and the Kings 95, Burns. And Webb tripped up by Bonner. So Bonner is fouled out. Anthony Bonner departs with 17 points and 8 rebounds. So Anthony Bonner equals a season high with 17. The Knicks with a season high with 121 points. The previous high, 119 against Miami. We're under a minute remaining in the game. 121-97 the score. Anthony with the spin.
Greg is not that comfortable going right, though. He always seems to come back and sit on that left hand.
Williams with the lead. The basket counts and a foul.
What a beautiful pass from Walt Williams.
And Peplowski will go to the line.
Williams moving up court quickly, right on target to Peplowski, who ran the court nicely. Another look at it, too. There's such beauty and simplicity when you see passing like that.
Now to 20 seconds remaining. And the foul called on Webb, so Anthony will go to the line. Greg is 2 for 2 from the foul line. High point man of the game, Patrick Ewing, with 31. His third 30-point game of the season. John Starks with 18. Anthony Bonner, 17 points. Hubert Davis, 13. Anthony Mason with 12, 15 rebounds for Charles Oakley. Patrick Ewing also had 10 rebounds. Sacramento led by Simmons with 22. Here's Webb. Little game within the game. The crowd did not want the Kings to hit 100 points, but they have. The Knicks now lead 123-101, and that wraps it. Sacramento Kings have lost 6 in a row. They dropped to 4 and 11. And the Knicks now 10 up and 3 down. Final score, the New York Knicks 123 and the Sacramento Kings 101. We'll be back with our post-game wrap-up in just a moment.
Football. Real football. On real grass.
Lambeau Field in snow.
No, too obvious. What about the fearsome force?
The Purple People Eaters.
Carl Eller.
No name defense.
The Oakland Raiders.
Baltimore Colts. Hey, Mike Curtis.
Rainichke.
Willie Lanier.
Immaculate reception.
Franco's Italian.
Oh, real fullback.
Franco Harris, Marv Hubbard, take your pick.
No. The Snake to Clarence Davis, 26 seconds left. AFC semifinals versus Miami.
Beechwood aged Budweiser. Crisp, clean, classic.
This is the view of New York City as seen by the publisher of New York Newsday. It's out there, about 30 miles past the Cow. Now this is what New York City looks like from my office at the Daily News. Now my point is this. What's the best way to look at the city? From Melville, Long Island, or 42nd Street? Daily News is New York. We live here, we work here. That's why every day we give you a much better view of New York. The Daily News. It's the most New York you can get.
You'll never make it in the NBA.
You'll just sit on the bench.
You never even played college ball.
You're just not ready, man.
You won't have a chance to develop.
Don't get your hopes up. Saturday, tango. Great. Bye. Dance.
We are Bianca.
And Benny.
Master the passion of the tango. The cha-cha-cha.
Bianca and I started on Broadway in
Benny, we teach all levels.
That was the original production of Coco Loco.
No partner necessary. You'll be tangoing tomorrow.
The 9X Yellow Pages. It's surprising what the ads can tell you.
I taught all the stars.
Benny.
Shipping a package to Omaha? That's a milk run. Try customs in Shanghai. That calls for local know-how. DHL. We'll take it from here.
It was exactly what the Knicks needed today at Madison Square Garden. 123-101. They beat the Sacramento Kings, depleted by injury and just not playing that well overall. This is what the Knicks were looking and feeling like on Thursday night. They have begun to erase the memories of the loss to the Houston Rockets and start thinking about getting back to their winning ways. They were able to do it today with smiles. Patrick Ewing's 31 points, 10 rebounds. He had his way for the entire game in the middle of this one, going up against the undermanned and injury-riddled Sacramento Kings. Overall on the game, he shot 13 of 21 from the floor. For the third time this season, beating the 30-point barrier. Here, going up against Wayman Tisdale. Great variety in Patrick Ewing's offensive game today. And the Knicks do respond to the loss against Houston on Thursday in a very positive way. One thing that we'll want to keep an eye on is that Charles Smith suffered a bit of a setback in warm-ups today, saying he felt some uncomfortable feelings in his left knee, which caused him to miss the games that he did. He had only played in 2. He did not play today. Rolando Blackman had the flu. The 10 available Knicks to Pat Riley all played and all scored, so a lot of bench minutes were applied. Charles Oakley, 8 points, 15 rebounds, big game off the boards for him. Anthony Bonner got some extensive playing time, and he was impressive once again, the sharpshooter of the month, by the way, in the month of November. Let's take a look at the Tri-State Jeep and Eagle Dealer scoring summary. I've already told you about the numbers of Patrick Ewing. John Starks had 11 points in the third quarter when the Knicks really extended. They led by as many as 27 in this one. Bonner's number, 17 points, 8 rebounds. He shot 6 of 10 from the floor. Another 60% night for him. Hubert Davis also good day off the bench. 5 of 11, 13 points. As for the Sacramento Kings, Lionel Simmons shot 9 of 16 from the floor. He had 13 at the half, finished with 16 at the half, finished with 22. Walt Williams had 16, Wayman Tisdale 15, and the injured Bobby Hurley with a rather quiet day, 6 points, 2 rebounds. Back with more post-game coverage on MSG after this.
How many times did Jim Bouton's hat fall off in the third game in the '64 World Series?
37 times.
Give the kid a break. What does Hubert Davis like on his pizza?
Pepperoni and pineapple.
Give the kid a break. Who gave Pepper Johnson his nickname?
His Aunt Trish.
Give the kid a break. Give the kid a break.
Nobody knows sports like the Times.
Knicks fans, get your copy of the all-new 1994 official New York Knicks yearbook today. This 120-page yearbook is a true collector's item with articles by New York's top sports writers, rare never-before-published photos, even a special 30-page section commemorating the first quarter-century of Knicks basketball at Madison Square Garden. Just send $10 check or money order to Knicks Yearbook, 2 Penn Plaza, 3rd floor, New York, New York, 10121. Attention, Debbie. That's Knicks Yearbook, 2 Penn Plaza, 3rd floor, New York, New York, 10121. Attention, Debbie. Ski the Garden at Nissan Winterfest 93, the Winter Sports Spectacular, December 4th and 5th. Brace yourself as Nissan Winterfest presents the tri-state area premiere of Warren Miller's high-flying ski film, Black Diamond Rush. Then head to the Nissan Winterfest Expo to meet legends of skiing, inline skate and hockey and demo area. Hang out in the snowboard headquarters, see the hottest outdoor sports clothing and equipment and more. Take it to the extreme. Nissan Winterfest 93 at the Garden, presented by Columbia Sportswear, the Dime and Hertz. Get your tickets now.
Everything was pretty much positive for the New York Knicks today. They beat the Sacramento Kings with relative ease, 123-101. With Charles Smith out of the lineup today, re-aggravating his left knee. Anthony Bonner saw plenty of minutes, and boy, did he deliver once again here at the Garden. 6 of 10 shooting, driving, defending,
wreaking havoc on defense, grabbing rebounds, Anthony Bonner today, and now joining us here at courtside. Anthony, you know, you don't play for 2 games, and then suddenly you're thrust into a very important role for this team, and again, you showed that you were prepared for that moment when the call came.
I think that's the unique position that I'm in here, that I know going into a lot of games some nights that I'm not going to have the opportunity to play. But at the same time, you never know when Coach Rowley is going to call your name. You just have to always be ready. And you never know in the midst of a somewhat madcap adventure when Charles Oakley is going to have a problem with his shorts and not appear in the second half. What was that all about? I don't know. You know, Oakley plays extremely hard. He dives for loose balls. He plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. And as a result, a lot of times he has a lot of injuries and nicks and knacks occur to him. Anthony, you know, when you missed the practice in the Thanksgiving Day weekend, it was written that Pat Riley was upset and everything, and really that wasn't the case, was it? No, I mean, that wasn't the case at all. It was unfortunate that my plane left. I wish I did own an aircraft where I can get in and out on time, but Coach Rowley just wanted to give Charles Smith extended minutes because he had missed a number of games, and I really understood that because I know we needed Charles. What was the highlight of the game for you personally today? I think just having an opportunity to play, you know, to get out there and have an opportunity to get involved in the game, to get extended quality minutes, and Coach Rowley did that, and I'm just appreciative. Look at the Sacramento Kings, your former team, 8 first-round picks in the last 4 years, and yet they seem like a black hole. It seems as though they just swallow up good players and can't seem to get it going. What's the story with this team, do you think? I don't know. You know, it's just a tough place to play. You know, nobody likes to lose all the time. You put the work in, you put the effort in. You're finally at the top of your career in the NBA, and you want to win, and it's just an unfortunate situation out there, and I hope that they continue to work hard, and maybe one day things will change. Well, you said here one of the things you wanted to do most was to win, and when you look at this team and see where you are now and what you could possibly do, you have to think that the salary cap and how it works sometimes was a good thing for you. Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm very, very appreciative of the fact that I was able to not only join the New York Knicks, but a class organization, and I'm very young. I'm only in my 4th year, and hopefully I can continue to get better as a player while at the same time helping this franchise win. Anthony, the Knicks, of course, know that what happened on Thursday was only 1 out of 82. The team was pretty quiet and businesslike, and the beginning of erasing that memory has begun. Thanks very much. Thank you. All right, that's Anthony Bonner. Let's go now to Pat Riley's press conference.
From an execution standpoint, I thought, you know, we executed our post game a lot better and, you know, got the ball a lot deeper and did some things to get Patrick on the move instead of straight posting him up, and I thought that got him a better position. So we just executed a little bit better, and we had, you know, obviously a much better game than we had the other night. You know, it's a good time for us, I think, to try to reestablish a game that left us a little bit over the last 10 days. You know, after we won in preseason and ripped off 7 in a row, you know, we hit a little bit of a spell. We had some dilemmas with injuries and, you know, just sort of distracted us in a number of ways. And I just maybe hope the Houston game was sobering enough to, you know, to get us back to reestablish defensively what we have to do and go out on the road with, you know, 3 tough, what I consider to be 3 tough road games and try to reestablish the confidence in the defense that we have to get to. He's really sore, you know. I mean, he's been, you know, when we put him on the injured list and basically tried to rehab the knee, he came back with a real hard week of practice, and he had a setback. So he's playing with a lot of pain right now, and you know, we were sort of primed to start him today, and you know, he was limping yesterday, you know, in practice, and so we have to reevaluate that whole thing. I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll, you know, meet with him and the doctor and just to see, you know, exactly what course of action we're going to take.
Was that like during warm-ups?
No, it was yesterday. No, it was yesterday, and but you know, I was going to start him today, and just, you know, let's get with it and see if we can, you know, where he's at, and but we have to reevaluate that. He's worked real hard to try to get back, so it's real frustrating for him right now.
Is that to suggest maybe this is the possibility?
I don't know. We'll find out. You know, we'll make a decision tomorrow.
Under normal circumstances.
Did you expect this kind of win, or was it absolutely necessary after Thursday night's game to see this kind of performance?
Well, you know, I think somewhere we got to play down every loss a little bit, you know, that it can't be, the next game can't be an Armageddon because you lose a game. And, you know, we were thoroughly outplayed the other night. The players, you know, felt the sting of that loss. And, you know, it was just simply a bounce-back game against the team that's, you know, a little bit down themselves without Mitch Richmond. That obviously we felt we could win because we're a better team, and or we think we are, and we did. And I think that's, you know, what it's about when you come back.
Is
there any greater sense, you sense among the players of getting to it already today after Thursday night?
Yeah, let's get back to work, get back to playing the game. So, you know, that's behind us, and you know, I thought we had a good game today. You know, regardless of who was out there against us, just had to come to work and take care of business. But our overall execution, when you begin to you know, maybe lose a little bit of confidence in your game a little bit for whatever reason, it leaves you quickly, and the only way you can get back to it is just a pure-hearted effort to execute what you're trying to do and to take a look at the options and to explore them a little better. And you know, we're a post-up team. We're going to continue to post up. I thought Patrick and Mace and Anthony Bonner did a great job inside today, so you know, we have to continue to work at it.
Pat, would you consider using Hubert at all at point guard from time to time?
Why?
Because he handles the ball well and he's a good passer.
No, we got 4 guards that have we've been rotating 4 guards for 3 years. You know, we're going on now into 3 years, and I don't think it's going to change. So I think, you know, the questioning of who plays and who doesn't play has gotten to an all-time high. And you know, I respect your opinion, but I have an opinion of my own, which I will exercise because I have a right to do that under the Constitution of the United States. And I think so. So as long as you continue to have your opinion, I will have mine. But we're a 4-rotation guard system right now. And I will say, John, that probably the nights that we need perimeter shooting, that John would be a point and Hubert would be out on the court with him. I think we have to use that at times, too. So, but, you know, that's the way this team is set up. And, you know, we're a pretty good 10-3 team right now, so it's no time to wave any kind of red flag.
Pat, what happened with Oak in the second period?
You better ask him. I don't know. I saw him, and then he was not around, so I think he had to come in and change his shorts for whatever reason. I don't know, but oh, they were ripped. Okay, yeah. Timmy has he had ripped his shorts.
Patrick doing has been struggling to make a point to try to get him off the table, get him.
Yeah, sure. He's our man, you know, and you know, I've seen it, you know, with Patrick, and I've seen it against, you know, other players have tough nights, and you want to come back and get your guy off, and we did. I don't care who we were playing against. You know, we worked real hard yesterday to get that corrected a little bit, and I thought he did a great job of really working hard to establish his game down low. He's got to make some adjustments. You know, he's got to analyze a little bit more. You know, why maybe you know, his game in the paint, you know, may be affected some nights, and it isn't just a decision that is made by the coaching staff. It's a team thing more than anything else. And I think Patrick's going to analyze it and work harder at getting better shots and taking better shots in them. I think that's behind him now. I think he's got mobility and everything. But his shot is off a little bit. It was the other night, you know. But you know, I want to tell you something. I mean, the other night we had 40 post-ups. The ball went into the post 40 times. Okay, and Patrick caught the ball in the post over 20 times, and he was double-teamed about 17 times. You know, I mean, that's the way it is some nights. And when that happens, you got to knock down jumpers from outside, and then you got to repost the ball again. You got to show more patience when the best part of your game is being taken away from you on the first option. And we did a much better job today of that. You know, if they're going to double, we just kick it out and repost it or take the jumper or drive it. And we were all sideways the other night, you know, all of us.
He had gone not just last week,
No, I don't agree with you at all. I mean, the injury was set him back. But if you take a look at his game, we have blown teams out where he only played 20-some minutes a game. He's only averaging 30 minutes a game. You know, he's averaging 20 points a game. But he's not on the floor to get big numbers right now because we had some games where he didn't have to be on the floor in the fourth quarter. And the bottom line, you know, if you're going to evaluate him and his numbers, is his team is 10-3. And we're 10-3 with him being out or basically hurt for about 3 of those games. So, you know, that's the bottom line with me. I don't care how many points he scores as long as his team is winning.
It was a perception when you got Bonner, probably mistaken, that he was like a luxury. You know, with the situation with Charles.
Yeah. Well, when we got him, it was as a we felt like getting a #1 draft pick for nothing. I mean, that's what he was, and he's as you can see, and all of you have seen in preseason, also in the games, that he's an exceptional offensive rebounder. He's got great hands, and right now he's our best finisher, you know, on tough shots inside. I think he completes, you know, 80% of his layups, so he makes things count, you know, inside. When I'm playing he and Oak or he and Mace together, sometimes we don't have the outside shooting. We have to watch that, but you know, he's very active, and we're really delighted with him because now that insurance policy pays off. It really does.
Let's talk about the road trip.
Well, you know, we look at it based on, you know, we were 3-2 at home, and we dropped a couple of games at home that we don't like to drop. So we go out on the road now with a little bit of, you know, a challenge out there. So it's a good time for us. I'm looking forward to it. Get away from New York. Nothing wrong with that. Just for a day or two. They'll fax me all the headline stories. I spent 3 minutes with you yesterday, and I can't believe the masthead today of the New York Post. Something about boo something or other. I don't know. Did you read your own paper today?
I looked at it. I looked at it. Yeah, they took out one quote.
Oh, they took out one quote. They threw it up there. Yeah. Oh, boy.
How tough is it to motivate your team for a game like this coming off such a big game against Houston?
It isn't about motivating. It's about them sort of, you know, demanding from themselves that, you know, they just get over the hump and, you know, get the win, you know. So we were all very disappointed and also, you know, a little bit angry with it. So I think that came out a little bit today.
What did you guys do against Utah aside from win that you didn't do last time?
You know, we 2 games that we lost, we had these leads going into the fourth quarter, and we run into these spells, these 6-minute spells every now and then, and in both San Antonio and Utah, we ran into these 6-minute spells where we got outscored 14-0 against them in the fourth quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter or something, and it cost us the game. So we have to become more consistent. You know, obviously we can't have those kinds of spells, but defensively is the area of most concern for me. We're not sustaining the kind of game defensively that we normally do, where we can get 5, 6, 7 stops in a row. And that's my concern with our team right now. Defensively, we're just not making the same kind of concerted effort consistently as we did a year ago. I don't know why, but we're going to continue to demand, you know, that part of our game to be better. Okay.
A little bit of everything in that coaches conference. Charles Smith's knee, the Constitution of the United States. It was brought to you by Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. A lot of kids in attendance today. One Cub Scout troop has one special member. That's Pat Riley's son, James. Under the hat, his hair is slicked back. Honest. Back in a moment.
Of all the credit cards out there, only one has Smart Rate, now as low as 14.9% and no annual fee.
Back at Madison Square Garden, 123-101. Knicks victorious today. A look at one of the Toyota matchups from this afternoon's game. It featured Patrick Ewing, one of the Knicks that perhaps came into this game a little angry with something to do and prove, against Mike Poplawski, fronting the hoop and driving right in straight up to the basket. Patrick Ewing over 30 points today, 31 on the day. That's the 3rd time this season he's broken the 30-point mark. Here's Michael Kay, who's emerged from the Sacramento Kings dressing room, and the Kings started off well. They've now lost 6 consecutive games, and this is the beginning of a 4-game Eastern swing for a team that hasn't won yet on the road. So the mood in there is probably pretty dim.
It is, and, you know, they're not a happy team, and how could they be? But Gary St. Jean says you have to look at things over the long haul. He said that might sound like a cliche. He said, but this is a team that's hurt, and there are a lot of injuries to people that really help the cause. He says, I've got to build for the future. He said, hey, maybe Bobby Hurley shouldn't be out there because he's not 100%, but he's our point guard a long time from now, and he's got to learn. This is the time he's going to get in the minutes. and become a better player. So Gary St. Jean said, no coach likes to lose. It's killing me. Locker room very, very quiet, no joking around. So it was tough for them. It really was.
Tough to get a read also on Bobby Hurley because he did play hurt today. He recorded 4 assists, 6 points, 2 rebounds in 26 minutes, all below his season averages. What kind of things did Bobby say?
Well, he said that the leg really tightened up in the third quarter. They usually let him play the whole third quarter and then bring in Spud Webb in the fourth, but they took him out with about 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, brought in Spud Webb. He said that the toughest thing about all of this is the thigh is tight, number one. Number two is all the losing. He said, you know, in high school at St. Anthony's, he lost 5 times the whole time he was there. And, you know, he's beaten that already. And that's the tough part about the NBA. He was at a great college program in Duke. He won 2 national championships. Losing is a foreign thing for him. I mean, he was brought up that way. And now he's going to lose. He's going to lose a lot. He's going to have a baptism by fire here in the NBA. And they're going to be guards that beat him off the dribble. Doc Rivers took him to school today, but it's all part of the learning process. The Kings can't give up on the number 7 pick in the draft, so they have to hang with it. And hopefully he could work it out. Gary St. Jean said this is a guy who's going to be a very good NBA player. Too many people expect too many good things from this guy because he was the 7th pick in the draft, the lottery pick. They expect him to be a superstar. He says not going to happen. It's going to take a while. He will be a good player.
Yes, he will lose this season, most likely, unless the Kings create something miraculous. More games in one season than he did in his entire collegiate and high school career. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Al.
All right. We'll be back with more post-game coverage on MSG, but first, a reminder that guests who appear with us receive an American Express gift check. Think of it as a universal certificate that can be used to buy anything just about anywhere. Gift checks are available where American Express travelers' checks are sold. And some guests receive Bulova timepieces. Bulova, make every minute count with timeless elegance and precision design. The Marine Star collection from Bulova.